So, as part of the All Stakes Pick 4 that Oaklawn has on Saturday's card, leg 3 would be the Razorback handicap. And incidentally, we'll have a post on the Pick 4 sequence. But the Razorback handicap is the 10th race on Saturday's card, and it's at a mile and a 16 for 4-year-olds and up. And this is a great betting race. And we take a look at the field, and we see some familiar faces with Magic Tap and Octane, 8 and Life Grand, Frosted Departure, or some probably the more notable, more prominent. But the main thing to note about this field is it's pretty open. I think it's extremely well balanced. And when you have a situation like this, you get some great betting opportunities. And I think this is a prime example of it. So we'll take a look at how we field this, and we'll see that Speed Bias is the lone pace setter, and he's in prime position, being in the 3 hole, and should be able to get to the lead with no problem. This horse has always demonstrated ability, but the problem with Speed Bias is he just doesn't close the deal. Even in his best efforts, he finds a way to give it up late. He's going to be the inside speed. He does fire every time, and you certainly have to use him. But one would think that, one of the themes in this race, I think, of a lot of these horses is they have a problem closing the deal. They just don't know how to win consistently. And Speed Bias is one very much like that. So while I think he's a use, I don't think you can put him up on top with confidence. So he would be in the mix. Then we'll come to Magic Tap. And he's another one that, this one has demonstrated ability late in the 3-year-old year. But he every time I see him run, it's just never a foregone conclusion that he's going to win the race. He's got ability. His best effort at the graded stakes level was the Pennsylvania Derby from a numbers speed figure perspective and fractions wise. But did he win? No, he was kind of uninspiring, and he finished, I think, 4th. But he has ability. He's 4 years old now, so perhaps with some growth he can be a little better. His last race wasn't bad. He got a nice win, but it wasn't against a really top quality field. So again, Magic Tap is another one. Well, I think you have to use him in this race. I don't think you can put him on top with confidence. So I'm going to look elsewhere for better value. Seize the Night had a game effort in the 5th season. He closed against what is usually a speed favoring type of situation with the short stretch at a mile at Oaklawn, and it was in the slop. And Promise Keeper basically freaked, ran the race of his life. He's in here too to get up. But I thought Speed Bias, Seize the Night rather, showed a lot closing into it. He rated well, and it was a near career high speed figure that he got in the tinsel. So he's in good form the last 2 races, and excuse me, this is the second in his form cycle. So I think he stands there's every reason to believe that he will improve. And so, again, not necessarily one that I can count on to get on top, but I think is one that you want to include in the mix for sure. 8 Life Grand is, outside of Iowa, the results have been a little disappointing. And that's kind of the thing with him, but he did win the Lake Ochita here last year at Oaklawn, so he is capable. And his last 3 races, in particular, the race level has been good. He's been running in good class races, and he's performed very well with his highest class ratings as well. When you see a class rating of over 120, we're talking about Brisnet figures. That's big time running. That's graded stakes level running. So I think 8 Life Grand is coming into this race in top form. He's clearly a horse who's finally realizing his potential. He's a bit of a late bloomer. So I think he's one we certainly want to think about in this race. I don't know that I want too short a price. But I think that he's one that I'm certainly willing to use in the mix for sure. And it's very possible he could win. He is coming in with really high class levels, and that is definitely a separating factor in this type of race. Midnight Rising uh, debuted at 4 with a career high in a pretty decent allowance field. There is bounce potential, of course, but he is debuting. That was at his 4-year-old debut, and you always love to see that after a horse has a birthday, that their first race they come off with a career high. So I think there's some things to like there. Now there is some bounce potential, that's true, but I'm more willing to believe that that's a good sign of a horse who's grown into himself and is improving. And at 30-1, I think you're getting excellent value. So Midnight Rising is one I think certainly we want to use. Notary number 11 bears more scrutiny, of course, because of what Money Supply just did last weekend at the fairgrounds. I thought Money Supply was, while being a nice horse and had been on a winning streak, was class-wise maybe not quite up to snuff with some of the others. Well, I was proven wrong as he closed into Best Actor, who had every reason to win that race, being the lone speed. So then if you look at Notary, he finished a good second against Money Supply and then came out and won his next race. So I think that we have to consider him. And in his last race, he was ultra impressive. He drew off after attending what was a fairly slow pace. And this is an ultra consistent performer. He's always in the money and he knows how to win. And that to me is the determining factor for me to select Notary as my number one choice here. Very similar to that race over at Fairgrounds with Tumbarumba, I believe it was, a couple weeks back. He just was the one horse who knew how to win. And that was really what put me on him, and he did. He won. I think you got a similar situation here, and at 10-1, that's outstanding value. Get anything close to that, that's Tube City. That's good stuff. Escapeologist is coming out of the last 2 races as well. I'm not quite as high on him, though, because he leaves himself a little too much to do late. However, he's in good form. He should be coming late, and there is the outside possibility at 20-1 that he just might steal this race, but I'm not quite as high on him as I am Notary. So if we look at our wagering strategy, I'm going to go Notary across the board. And I think he offers us the best betting value, which I think you have to have in this race. And I think he offers us the best opportunity to get paid. We're going to key box him with 3, 4, 6, and 8. And then we're going to box 4, 6, and 11. Mainly because I think they offer the best opportunity for value, particularly with Midnight Rising at 30-1. And I think 8 Life Grand looks pretty good to me as a horse likely to finish in the top 2. Then, because Escapeologist comes out of the last 2 races that Notary does, we'd be crazy not to throw him into the mix. So we're going to box him in an exacta as well. The trifecta, we're going to put Notary on top with 3, 4, 6, 8. Then we're going to use Notary on top with 3, 4, 6, 8. And then Seize the Night and Escapeologist in third. And then we'll flip-flop it with Notary on top, Seize the Night and Escapeologist in second. And then 3, 4, 6, 8 in third. And obviously there's a lot of ways you can mix and match here, but I think Notary is the horse to key around, and he's my pick to win the Razorback, and this is a great betting race.